Roast beef is a dish of beef that is roasted, generally served as the main dish of meal. In the Anglosphere, roast beef is one of the meats often served at Sunday lunch or dinner. Yorkshire pudding is a standard side dish. Sliced roast beef is also sold as a cold cut, and used as a sandwich filling. Leftover roast beef may be minced and made into hash. Roast beef is a characteristic national dish of England and holds cultural meaning for the English dating back to the 1731 ballad, The Roast Beef of Old England. The dish is so synonymous with England and its cooking methods from the 18th century that a French nickname for the English is les rosbifs, choosing the best cut for roast beef. The cut you buy will depend on what you're using the roast beef for, your budget, your personal preferences. If you're looking for a tender cut for a special occasion or to serve to guests, go for a more expensive cut. Prime rib. Ribeye. Beef tenderloin. For meals that aren't big affairs, you can still get that wonderful roast beef flavor, but without the high price tag. Petite shoulder. Sirloin tip. Rump roast. Bottom round. Whatever cut you decide on, look for one with some fat and visible marbling for better flavor. A tied roast gives a more uniform shape for even cooking. If you have a butcher, ask them to tie the roast for you. Or you can tie it yourself with some kitchen twine. Tips for the best roast beef. Every oven is different, so the timing will vary. For the most accurate cooking time, use a meat thermometer to test the doneness of your roast. Bring the internal temperature to 135 degrees Fahrenheit, for medium rare meat, 145 degrees Fahrenheit, for medium meat, or 150 degrees Fahrenheit, for medium well. The size and shape of your roast makes a difference in cooking time. As a general rule of thumb, at 225 degrees Fahrenheit, cook your roast for about 30 minutes per pound, after the initial browning, for a medium rare. But be sure to check at least 30 minutes before it should be done, just to make sure. You may need to cook bone-in roast a bit longer than boneless roasts, because the bone can act like an insulator. If your roast doesn't have any fat, you can rub the roast with butter or olive oil. Or top the roast with some slices of bacon to add some fat. If using butter, it'll brown faster, so keep an eye on it and shorten the browning time at the beginning. How to store roasted beef. Refrigerate leftover roast beef, wrapped in plastic or foil, about 3 to 5 days. To freeze, we recommend slicing it into portions for easier use later, but you can simply put the entire roast in the freezer. Cool to room temperature and double wrap in plastic or foil, then, seal in a zip-top bag, squeezing out as much air as you can. To thaw, defrost in the refrigerator overnight. Reheat in a preheated 350 degrees Fahrenheit oven for 10 to 15 minutes. You're going to want to take the beef roast out right at 115 degrees Fahrenheit for medium rare. During the resting time it will rise to about 130 degrees Fahrenheit, which will give you the perfect warm, red center without being overdone. The serving temperature is 125 degrees Fahrenheit for rare and 130 degrees Fahrenheit for medium rare. Since a beef roast is generally a leaner cut of meat, you don't want to cook them over a medium rare if you're roasting them. However, you can slow cook top round and bottom round to make a nice pot roast or barbacoa. Yum! Ingredients for the best tender roast beef. 4 pounds organic beef roast. 2 tablespoons fine sea salt. 2 teaspoons freshly ground black pepper. 6 cloves garlic. 2 tablespoons grass-fed butter, ghee, or avocado oil. Half a cup organic beef broth. Half a cup dry red wine. 3 sprigs rosemary. 1 large yellow onion, thinly sliced. How to make melt in the mouth roast beef. 1. Remove roast from refrigerator about 2 hours before starting recipe to allow it to come closer to room temperature. It will still be a little cool after 2 hours, but not cold. 2. In a small bowl combine salt and pepper. 3. Use a sharp, thin knife to make 3 slits on one side of the roast, about 2 to 3 inches deep, stuff the slits with the garlic cloves, 1 clove in each, and some salt and pepper. Flip the roast over and make 3 more slits on the other side and stuff with garlic, salt, and pepper. Rub the remaining salt and pepper over the outside of the roast. 4. Preheat oven to 275 degrees Fahrenheit. 5. Melt butter over medium-high heat in an oven-safe skillet, braising pan or cast iron. Sear all sides of roast in the hot oil to brown, for about 15 minutes total. Remove roast to a plate and deglaze the bottom of the pan with broth and wine. 7. Oven roast at 275 degrees Fahrenheit until you get to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Let the pot roast cook for about 12 to 15 minutes per pound, so a little less than 1 hour for a 4 pounds roast. Transfer meat to a cutting board, tent loosely with aluminum foil, and allow to rest for about 20 minutes. The internal temp will continue to rise as the roast rests. Serving temp should be 130 degrees Fahrenheit in the center for medium rare. You can rest for up to 1/2 hour if you need to. The main differences between roasting and baking are the types of foods you roast versus bake and the temperature of the oven. When it comes to temperature, roasting requires a higher oven temperature of above 400 F for the cooking process, while baking takes place at lower oven temperatures around 375 F and below. Roasting involves cooking foods, like meat, potatoes, chicken, and vegetables, that already have a solid structure before you begin cooking. Baking, however, refers to foods without initial structure, like cupcakes and cookies. Also, roasting tends to be done in an uncovered roasting pan, whereas baked goods may sometimes be covered. When it comes to temperature, roasting requires a higher oven temperature of above 400 F for the cooking process, while baking takes place at lower oven temperatures around 375 F and below. What is roasting? Roasting is a cooking method that uses dry heat and hot air to surround the food and cook it evenly on all sides. Food can be roasted over an open flame, an oven, or additional heat sources. Once roasted, foods such as meat and vegetables will have a flavor that is enhanced through caramelization and browning. What is baking? Baking, on the other hand, is cooking with dry heat without direct exposure to a flame. Typically, this is done in a conventional oven or on a hot surface.